What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Born2BNerd Podcast. My name's Ethan.
My name is Lance.
And I'm a little bit under the weather today, but we're going to get through it. It's going to be okay. It's kind of a dreary day. It's been a dreary week, dreary month in May of 2025. But today, we're going to be talking some anime. We both recently watched a show that you talked about, and you turned me on to it. Called Heavenly Delusions, which I was not expecting, like at all. And it's a couple years old, I guess. It came out in 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not very accessible because it wasn't airing on like Crunchyroll or
right. It's on Hulu. Right? Yeah.
Which not many people have.
Yeah, or
not everyone has.
Not everyone has. Yeah. And I also forget like the anime that they have on there, and that they even do like weekly airings of anime. Like I don't think of Hulu as a platform that does that. So yeah, if you hadn't have said anything, the funny thing is I remember seeing when I watched the opening episode, I remember that scene. I had seen that on like Instagram or something. The scene where like they get like cornered by like a gang of like bandits.
Yeah.
And like she pulls a gun and they're like, oh shit, she's got a gun, and then like it doesn't work, you know? Mm-hmm. I remember seeing that scene. So I had seen it before, or I'd seen that clip before, but I totally forgot about the anime. Not what I was expecting in a great way. But yeah, we kind of wanted to talk about that. I also recently watched 5 centimeters per second. That escaped me. I'd never seen that before. I think you said that you seen that a while ago, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was just like a lot of heart, and it's one of those films that I think you could watch. Like I watched it as a 33-year-old man, and I think if I'd have watched, it came out in 2007. Yeah, so if I'd have watched it as like a 15-year-old, like, dude.
Yeah, I was in my teens when I watched it. I'm pretty sure I might have been in my early 20s.
Yeah. But it's one of those films, like you could watch it at different stages in your life and have two, completely different viewing. You could interpret everything and identify with characters in completely different ways, based on where you are in your life, really. So I want to talk about that a little bit, and then they also had the Crunchyroll Awards, the Anime Awards, recently. Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to talk.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, there's a lot of discussion going on about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it says a lot about where we are as like anime fandom.
Yeah.
As a whole right now, and how it's vastly different from what it used to be.
Mm-hmm. The importance of aura farming, I guess.
the aura king, dog. Yeah. So with that, let's dive on in, man. This is a full spoiler, I think,
podcast. And we'll probably talk about a lot about
a lot of spoilers with Heavenly Delusions. So if you haven't seen Heavenly
and probably
Delusions,
everything else we talk about.
Yeah, true.
I think we're gonna have to, if we're gonna talk about like the kind of validity of and the details that go into all these anime to where they represent in our current day and everything. We're gonna have to kind of cover some grounds.
So if you guys haven't seen Heavenly Delusions or 5 kilometers per second or centimeters per second, just pause this episode.
Or solo leveling, or free run.
Or free run. Just, pause, and then go watch all of that, and then come back and listen to the episode. Yeah. And then give us a 5-star rating, because that'd be rad. It helps out a lot. But yeah, so Heavenly Delusion. You mentioned it a couple episodes ago, and I picked it up and watched it, and I was immediately blown away by it.
Yeah, it grabs you immediately.
Immediately, with everything, with like the tone, and with the animation's gorgeous, and the animation also does that thing where it switches back and forth depending on like the emotion, and it's a really useful tool that they use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was
depending
telling
on where
you.
they are in the story.
Yeah.
But it dives into some really heavy subject matter, which I wasn't prepared for.
Right.
Again, full spoilers. Full spoilers. One more time, full
Yeah.
spoilers. It goes into like the depths of like what humans are kind of capable of in the extreme into the spectrum, like the worst things that they can do, and then also like the pure innocence of being human as like a
Mm-hmm.
child is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Right. It also covers on like, I would say, we're hopefully going to get a season 2.
well,
It's
eh.
it's not too old to where it couldn't happen.
I hope
Like,
that it happens. I was
yeah,
actually just reading up on it,
yeah,
and as of now, it's on hiatus still.
right. Um, it's because it got picked up by Hulu, man. If it was on Crunchyroll, it'd be getting a season 2 already. Like,
Yeah. Well, they're also
but
they're not caught up with the manga, or they're still really close to the
mhm,
manga. So
yeah. Um, but I also think it kind of in a weird way shows how like what what humans do now, like humans as a power
hmm.
affects generations to come.
Right, yeah. I think that one of the things that I was like kind of like it happened on both sides. So quick plot synopsis: it's a post-apocalyptic world, and you're in the two different timelines, right? And you keep going back and forth between the two timelines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to get that are connected, but they're different.
Yeah.
Um, in both worlds, I'm going to say worlds in both timelines. One of the things that I noticed is like this this theme of like the children needing to be protected, and yet those children who have put their faith in these adults are constantly being let down by the people that should be supporting them the most.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this I think it's like it was very, I think it's pretty intentional of what the creators had to say about how kids are being mistreated throughout life, inadvertently or on purpose.
Yeah.
Like with there's the horrible scene toward in the last couple episodes, but then
Yeah.
you have like just the governing body, right, of like the compound.
Yeah. I guess before we get like deep into detail, for anyone who hasn't seen it but doesn't care about spoilers and is listening anyways or watching anyways, so basically you're following um the main characters, the protagonists are these two kids. I don't remember their names right now.
Maru and Kiruko.
Yeah. Um it's Maru is the gray haired boy, right?
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
I thought was Tokyo, by the way. Like,
Oh yeah. So Maru is on a quest to find someone who apparently has the same face as him. That's the mission he's been given by someone in the past. And what's the other character's name?
Kiruko.
Kiriko is uh has been like tasked to be their bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
So they're on this quest across Tokyo or Japan or wherever they are, in this like post-apocalyptic dystopian world to find this person. And then, Kiriko is also on a journey to try to find someone that they looked up to as a kid that they lost contact with or whatever. And they're in a world has like, not only just dystopian dangers, but also these like monsters that roam and hide and
they're called man eaters.
Yeah, man eaters. Yeah. And then you're also following this alternate story of these kids who are living in this kind of sheltered facility, very similar to like Promise Neverland, if you've watched that, where
I never
these
watched it. I was going to, and
it's about, basically a whole bunch of orphans or just these children that are being raised to be highly intelligent, to kind of, I don't know, grow them based on like the goals of these adults or whatever. And you're watching like these kids explore their humanity as they kind of learn and grow and explore the world in a very sheltered, extremely hyper sheltered situation. And then you kind of learn how these two stories kind of merge together towards this as the story goes.
Yeah. So within those like different parallel lines, first I missed a lot of context clues. Like the whole thing with like Tokyo. I thought Tokyo and I thought that Maru were the same person.
Oh,
like
really?
For a long time. I didn't quite get that they were two different people. Until like the switch happens and you find out like in the one episode that Tokyo was pregnant, right? And you're like, wait a minute, because that's when I texted you. I was like, wait, I thought Tokyo was a boy.
Yeah.
Because the whole time that I thought it was Maru or whatever. But yeah, it's the action in it is really well done. But I think behind like, and it's got this like almost horror aspect to it too.
It's minor, but it's like uneasy, unsettling.
It's uneasy and it's unsettling. And I think the horror itself is like what human beings do. Like, and like kind of the messed up reasons that they would do it, that things that they do. Like with the number 11 guy, the Juichi guy. That was a turn that like I wasn't expecting, and that's something this show does really well, is like it blends comedy, a little bit of comedy, a seemingly one-off character.
Yeah.
Like I never expected to see that guy again, right? And then when he shows up later on, you're like, holy shit, like he was telling the truth. And then like when they find the kid and all that stuff, right? And then you find out like what the kid is, and you're like, oh shit, the kid is the man eater, basically, or or a product of that, and he's killing everyone. But then like you're like, okay, so they found their people, and like then there's the second part of the story, with Juichi, and you're like, oh my god, like, and you see it from like multiple points of view, but then you see it from like the true Juichi's point of view, and how like this whole time, like he still holds resentment and he still holds a grudge, like because of the two women that died that night, you know what I mean? And he was the only one that made it out because that guy told on him, because he ratted him out. And then like it just cuts to the brutality of that scene where he's like just he had sawed through that guy with the kid right there. And the kid's got like blood like dripping down, which is like a beautiful, it's a beautiful depiction of like the sins of your fathers, splashing onto children. It was just really well done. They used a lot of iconography like all throughout the series, like that. It's sometimes really heavy handed, sometimes it's really subtle. But it's a really well crafted show. They also, again, with like the time difference or the time splits, they're slowly, the way that they progress through the story, you slowly get little bits and pieces that kind of connect, but they don't. Like they connect, but they almost lead you into like more questions than they do, and they give you answers until like slowly the stories are kind of like.
What I also love about the two worlds that you're seeing simultaneously is how the direction, like how those episodes are written, what each like focus is in those two different like worlds kind of link up to like the message that they're telling in that episode. It's pretty cool. pretty well written. Like they're having completely like different experiences, but the message that we're receiving is kind of like telling the same, like two sides of the same story kind of thing.
Yeah.
Really well done.
Well, I think that like not the first, when they're inside the compound, it's told from like the perspective of like the adults are here and like the adults are present and they're in control and they're doing stuff for they know what's going on. They know what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And on the outside, no one knows. Like literally no one knows anything.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the very first time that they encounter not the bandits, but like a true like parent figure, you know, with the lady who's like the innkeeper.
The hotel, yeah, the innkeeper, yeah.
And you see like she's supposed to have it figured out, but she's like totally messed up in the head, and her view of like what should be done is totally askew from the viewpoint of the kids of Maru and Kiriko, who are trying to progress through this world, their whole quest is looking for answers. They're looking for heaven. They're looking for the person with the same face, right?
Yeah.
So their quest is like trying to find an answer, and the whole time they're trying to gather the information. The people who should have the information, or at least some kind of information, are way more fucked up than they are.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know, man. It's such a like cool. It's not cool. It's fucked up, but like it's an interesting take on like where we are with ourselves, like right now.
And it's also like the show does so well of showing how adults sabotage everything because of their own egos, because of their own fears. Yeah, it's just like these kids they all have the answers without having the answers. They know like innately what the right choice is, but they don't have the resources because they're children to do so.
Yeah.
And these adults have all the resources, and they like destroy everything.
Yeah.
You know, they ruin everything.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
I mean, if you look at all of the people who are in power in the show, like everyone from the executive lady who is like running the ship, you know, and like the whole point of her scheme is to like for immortality, basically, right?
Yeah.
Like she wants to transplant her brain into the next living being and live on. And then like when you're outside, it was so heartbreaking, dude. Like, and it gives you little context clues. And as soon as it hit, I was like, as soon as he was like, we can talk more, you know, when Kiriko went into the bathroom and he was like, we can explore whatever. He's like, we have all night to explore any questions you want to ask. I was like, oh no. And you know, that guy was the one I mean, it's who her quest is for ultimately,
right?
But it's the one person who she like loves and looks up to for everything, for answers, for safety, for guidance, for everything. And that one person who's supposed to like lead her on a path and like guide her abuses her in like the worst way possible.
Yeah. You know, that scene it's crazy because like on one hand, whenever that scene kind of takes place and you realize what's happening, it's almost a little like unbelievable. Yeah. Where you're like, this is kind of out of place, you know, for like, yeah, he might not have been the best person that we were shown, you know, but this is kind of a jump. But at the same time, it's like, that's the point I think it's trying to tell, is that like these like monsters are monsters, and they don't always show themselves, especially to children. Children aren't able to see that kind of stuff.
They're oblivious to the signs. Yeah.
And so it's like, it's wild and it's intense and it's so brutal. It's so brutal. and it feels out of place, and it like gives you a weird,
it
gross
hits
feeling,
like a hammer. Like
Yeah.
when it out of nowhere, you're like,
Yeah.
oh no. And then like you see the heartbreak and everything, and then you see like the determination with Maru, who when he realizes what's going on, like that, like the innocence in him as well is just
Yeah.
there's no barrier anymore. Like there's the scene where the guy's trying to run to get around him, and he just
Yeah.
keeps grabbing him and throwing him against the wall, and he'll grab him and throw against the wall, and then he just starts beating the shit out of him until Kiriko comes and stops
Yeah.
him. And uh it's just like the brutality in it, man.
Yeah.
It's just fucked. And then like that's not all, right? So you have all that going on, and then there's the door that's right beside of him the whole time, and inside the door is the other experiment that the guy's running at the same time.
Yeah.
When you know at the end when you find that out, you're like, oh my god, like the depths of this guy's depravity.
How long has he been doing it? To how many victims?
It is like, but that, right? So like that is like in complete contrast in the adult that some of the adults that they inadvertently find, trying to find him when they find the doctor in the city who's like, your view from the point of the rebels is that he's this evil person, this like genetically modifying people without their consent and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out that, you know, he's trying to keep this person alive that he loves. And it like, oh man, when it cuts and like you realize that like that doctor like he's given everything to try to keep her alive so she doesn't turn into a one of the man-eaters.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you realize that like he gave her his eye and everything,
Yeah.
like, oh my god,
now,
man.
You know who that was, right? The doctor and the patient, or the doctor and the... Yeah, I guess you can call it the patient, who those two people were. Those were two of the kids.
Wait, was it the tall kid?
It was the guy with the bowl cut and the girl with the bunny ears.
And the girl with the ears? Oh,
that was who that was.
Oh, no! No!
I was wondering if you caught that.
No!
That's why he had the button that she gave him.
Oh! No! Oh my god, dude.
Like
that's why he gives her the button at the end, or she gives him the button at the end when they're by the creek. Yeah. Oh my god.
And that's also like why he had he like slicks his hair back at the river. Like he goes from the bowl cut to like slick it back.
Yeah, so he clicks it over a little bit, yeah. Oh my god. No, I never fucking caught it. That's what I'm saying. I missed so much throughout it. Like, I honestly want to go back and watch it again, just to like try to catch more of like a streamlined story. Or maybe I'll read the manga. I might read the manga. Apparently, it's really, really, really good.
I can imagine.
But yeah, man, there's so many. There's so many, like, it's one of those, like, it's not a Monster of the Week show because there's this huge story, but the characters that you meet throughout it almost present itself in this like Monster of the Week kind of you know, a monster as in a monster of humanity, and also a monster as in these man-eaters, you know, because sometimes like on the boat episode where they're in that one where it's got like the arms and stuff, right? And it's like this big chase scene. That's like a Monster of the Week episode basically.
Yeah.
But then it's just also within this like beautifully crafted overarching story.
Right.
It's a really good rec. Like, I'm so glad you brought it up to me, because it probably just would have gotten buried like underneath everything else that's, you know, in the catalog. So Heavenly Delusions, if you guys haven't watched it, go watch it. if you have watched it, let us know what you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
because I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. The you know, amazing OP. Love that
Oh
OP
God,
so
yeah,
much. I would
yeah.
watch it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the art in general, it's so good. It's so inspiring. Like, it makes me want to like draw so bad, because the way they do, like, it at some points it has this almost like mob psycho kind of detail or scratchiness or like rawness to it.
Mm-hmm.
This like almost like Akira level scratchiness, sketchiness, you know. But then it goes into like, once the show is like, this is like, you need to catch this detail, it
Yeah,
goes like hyper detailed and fluid and very like um contrasted, and it's so good, so
yeah.
good. The action
It
scenes are so well done.
it's production IG, so I
Mhm.
mean, Psychopaths and Attack on Titan, all that
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah, it's just the way they handle it is so, is it like reaches an artistic note that none of those shows did. Like at like none of those shows I think did as well.
hmm.
Like it's like the change in animation is feels so purposeful, you know, and
Yeah,
it's like guiding your eye and like forcing you to focus when it wants you to like pay attention.
yeah,
Um, and sometimes it's just a matter of like showing the poetic nature of the scene in more detail, you know, the richness.
mm-hmm.
The way like whenever it shows the girl staring up at the sky, you know, and it
Mm.
just goes to this hyper detail on her eye.
Yeah. It's an amazing show, man.
Mhm.
I can't say enough good things about it,
Yeah, I would really love a season two.
dude. The way that it ends too, I was like, is this like, is this already been picked up? Like, surely the second season's about to drop. If that's the ending.
Yeah,
And then I looked and I was like, indefinite hiatus.
yeah,
No.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know why studios pick up manga that are incomplete. Um, in the time that they do. I can understand wanting to pick up a manga that you're like, this is going to be huge. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we need to jump on it before any other studios do. But then they get stuck because the manga isn't finished. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know, but you know, I would really love to see a season two. It's definitely one of the top anime of the year for me that I watched. You know,
Yeah.
um,
I mean, I know that it came out in 2023, but it's one of my favorites that I've watched this year.
yeah, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, I wonder how it did in the anime awards in 2023.
yeah, I'm not sure. There are a couple anime that come out each year that aren't shown on big streaming sites like Crunchyroll or Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
That okay, so Free Run came out in 2023.
No, 2024.
Nope, September 29, 2023. Or we'll have to talk about that soon.
Then how was it just nominated?
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand. I don't know what Crunchyroll's
Parameters are.
system is. Yeah, I'm trying to find. There it is. Um, it got an 8. Isn't it? Has an 8.2 on my anime list. Disney Plus,
Wait, what does?
Heavenly Delusion. It's Disney Plus. That's what it's streaming on.
I just watched it on Hulu.
Yeah, it might be on Hulu too, but Disney
Oh,
Plus.
I see.
It
It's
says
on.
on my
It's on
anime list.
Hulu.
It says Disney Plus, and that's not a site that many people use to watch anime.
No, not at all.
You know, there's another anime that came out in 2023, I believe. I believe it was 2023. And that was called. What was that called? I can't remember what it's called. But there are a couple anime that come out every year on these small streaming sites that are just incredible.
Mm.
And they get completely missed by the public, and it's such a shame because they're some of like what I consider to be the best anime of the year that they come out in, and they don't get the views that they deserve.
Yeah.
They just completely, because it's so unfortunate that we have to pick and choose what streaming sites we want to use so that we can see what we want to see.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or if not, you want to spend $100 on streaming, different streaming subscriptions.
I know that's what we're at right now. We were just talking about like taking off a couple of hours because I was like, it's just getting too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And even like you're basically watching them for a couple shows,
Yeah.
you know, and then you're just not watching you're not watching the services for months at a time. You're just like wasting money basically. But yeah, I wish there was like an anime dedicated service like Crunchyroll, but that picks up everything.
Yeah.
Because there's so much that isn't on Crunchyroll that comes out that is something of substance. And then you look at Crunchyroll and like you kind of look at a lot of the stuff that comes out on there every single season and it's kind of the same kind of stuff. Like a lot of at the time, I know you like your isekai, but like it's a lot of isekai. It's a lot of like the shonen kind of power level shows.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of big name studio stuff that's going to appeal. It's designed to appeal to a broader audience to gather in the most amount of views that they can. And I get the business model, but it's like I wish there was also a spot for these stories that are a little more linear and a little more concise with a little more heart and intent behind them. That it seems like we kind of get less and less of each year.
We get them. It's just these streaming sites don't pick them up.
They don't pick them up. That's what I'm saying though. Yeah. Like in order to go through them, you'd have to go through a rando streaming site, you know, that hopefully you get a good server that you can watch it through, and you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Summertime Rendering was the anime I was thinking of.
That's next on my list. That's what I'm gonna start watching this week. Yeah.
I love Summertime Rendering so much. First of all, the intro, the OP, also one of my favorites.
Yeah.
The main character, really cool main character. It has just a teeny tiny touch of fan service, just this tiniest touch that makes you go, yeah. Yeah. But also the story is haunting. And do you know about Summertime Rendering?
I don't know anything about it. All I remember seeing was like I forgot about it because initially when it was posted, it used a different thumbnail. And the new thumbnail that's on Hulu, because I think it was on Crunchyroll.
It was never on Crunchyroll. It was on High Dive.
So the original thumbnail is different from what's on Hulu. So I've been seeing it on Hulu and not even like recognizing what it was. And so when I was watching Heavenly Delusions, it kept coming up as a recommended. So I was like, what is this? And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, I do remember seeing this. And it was on my to watch list, but I never watched it.
Yeah, I won't say much of anything about the story itself. It's spooky. It's did you ever watch Blood Plus?
Blood
or Blood C?
Blood C? Yeah.
I would say like if you ever watched that, you would kind of maybe get that vibe here too in a way, but not really. It's like it's totally different, but like they kind of follow the same realm of brutality and spookiness, like eeriness, you know?
Yeah.
But the detail that was put into that, the writer of Summertime Rendering, the island that this story takes place in, the writer stayed at, I think, for like 2 years doing research on its lore, on its folklore, you know, like on the legacy and history of the island, you know. So it has like they spent a lot of time working on that project. So it's and it shows like it's unlike any anime I've ever seen, you know. Just like Heavenly Delusion, I wouldn't say is the same. I actually kind of connect Heavenly Delusion to like a kind of like puzzle pieces from other anime, Promised Neverland, Made in Abyss, things like that. But Summertime Rendering is in its own realm, I think, of originality, and it's amazing. Very good.
Yeah, that's literally what I'm going to plug into this week.
Yeah, well, yeah, I definitely am excited for you to see that, and we can talk about it for sure.
Yeah,
and it's a nice one and done too. 24 episodes, I think.
You know, I love my one and done, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that I was watching, dude. So I've been putting on EPO, just as like a background, while I'm like cooking or something like that, because the English dub actually, it's pretty good. It's those '90s English dubs when they actually had talented voice actors. So I can kind of listen to it in the background. And the other day, I went to go watch something while I was eating breakfast, and I was going to put on EPO, and I was on Netflix, and so that's what it's on now. And instead of putting on EPO, there was a suggested, which was 5 centimeters per second, and I was like, this title sounds familiar, but I've never seen it. And it's done by the same guy who did like what is it, Weathering with You and Garden of Words and Your Name. But it's like one of his earlier works. It was done in like 2007, and I think it's kind of like it's one of the more divisive ones that he's done. But I decided to sit down and watch it, and my God, I was not ready to like cry at breakfast like that. I should have known, because I mean, you can tell by the title that it's done by the same production company, and same artist and everything like that. I just wasn't expecting it, and it split up into like, 3 different not timelines, but times in the main character's life in Takaki. The first one, it's this sweet story of him and the girl's name is Akari, and their little like their first love, basically, as children, as like they're like 10 years old or 11 years old or something like that. And Akari moves away, and it's basically like him going to see her after she's moved away on like a winter trip. And it's like, it's so like heartwarming, and the like it's emotive storytelling in like the best way possible. Like they'll do these narrations, and then they'll have these gaps of silence, and the gaps of silence just like make the moments where when they finally get to speak to one another, it makes it so much more impactful. And then like the setting they'll be in, like when they finally see each other, like for example in the bus station, after he's told her he's going to be there at like 7:00, and then the snowstorm comes in, and so it keeps getting pushed back later and later and later, and you're kind of getting like her side of the story, kind of, but it's more his. And when they finally meet, you're like, oh my God, like they're going to be together forever. This is the sweetest, like, and it's the send off that they have when they leave the next day. And it's like, it's so beautiful. And then there's a time jump, right? And you see like what a realistic like relationship would be like as teenagers, because they're not kids anymore. Now they're teenagers. And what that looks like. And there's an introduction of another character, and like it introduces this idea of like love, love longing, you know what I mean? Knowing that you'll never have the person that you're longing for from this other person's point of view. All the while still giving you Takaki's like story, but a skewed view of what his story is, and the relationship that he has with Akari at this point. And then we have another time jump that is like, the thing about the story is like, you can look at it from the eyes of like different versions of yourself, right? Like I know that if I had watched this as like a 15-year-old, I would have just been like, I identify with Takaki so much, loving someone like that. and wanting to do anything, like the idea that love will persevere, you know?
Yeah.
And then as you get older, you're like, sometimes the world doesn't work like that. And sometimes the world has its own, like, you have your own path that you just fall into, that you have to go into. And even if you like love someone, you might not be like, air quotes, like destined to be with that person. And what's right for both of you is a completely different path.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gives you this completely different view of like what that relationship is as adults. And like that like the idea of like the love that will never be is different. And it's like being able to accept that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like, God, it just hits, man.
Yeah.
It's such a beautifully told story.
Yeah, man, I haven't seen that movie since, you know, I think it only had been out maybe a year or two when I had watched it, you know. So it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I remember feeling rage at the end. I feel like I was really unhappy with how it ended.
Yeah, I mean, again, I could totally see that.
Yeah.
As like especially as like a younger man,
Mm-hmm.
like that feeling of, what are you doing? Are you like, what are you doing? I totally get it. And then there's like a little hint. Apparently, I think it was more, they said that in the manga, it's more like obvious, his reaction at the end,
Mm-hmm.
because it gives you a glimpse of like her wedding ring or her engagement ring.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the scene with the train as it's going by when they're adults. And apparently in the manga, he notices the ring, and that's why he doesn't interact, because he's like, you're already on your own path. Like the time that we had is gone, and you're on the path that you need to be on with the person that you need to be on it with.
Yeah.
And if you're happy, that's I need to accept that and be at peace with that. But it happened so fast in the movie that it's like, but it is beautiful. It's like a very beautiful film.
Yeah.
If you want to cry, if you want to,
I wish they would hurry up and come out with another one, man.
If you want to feel some stuff, go watch it. 5 centimeters per second. Maybe not at breakfast.
I've been holding off on watching all the sappy movies like Sukuna. No, that's Suzume. I forget what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that one yet. I haven't watched.
You seen Look Back yet?
No, not yet.
Oh,
I know,
brother. I got to go
and
see that one in theaters. That was good.
yeah. I want to watch that one, and then let me eat your pancreas, or I want to eat your pancreas. I think it's called. Yeah, another another heartbreaking one that I've been holding off on, with the like possibility of recording a reaction to him or something. But
yeah,
I don't know. I want to feel like every time I rewatch Your Name or watch a reaction to Your Name, I get choked up, bro. I start like tears start falling. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like if I do a reaction to it, like it creates that barrier to where you don't feel what you're watching quite as deeply as when you're just watching it on your own. Mm-hmm. So I'm like having a hard time deciding on what I want to do. So I've just been holding them in like a library, waiting for the decision to hit me.
Yeah.
But
let me know if you when you decide to watch Look Back, because I would watch that again. I want to watch it again. I want to feel it again.
Yeah.
That one there was another one that was like came out this year. What's it called? The Colors Within, or something about colors. It was about this girl who, like, sees people's auras, but she can't see her own. And like she wants to start a band. The Colors Within. It's really, really good. It's very beautiful. It hits. I think I might have talked about it on the podcast before.
I think maybe you have.
It's like it's a musical anime. It's a coming of age story, but it's got like it to be a musical anime. It doesn't use a lot of music
Mm-hmm.
in it until like the end.
Mm-hmm.
And when it does, it's like that scene in Kids on the Slope where they have that concert in the hall and like all the kids are. It's like that
Yeah.
kind of feeling. It's like,
I got
oh
you.
my god, it's really really beautiful.
There's like a few movies that I haven't had a chance to. Movies, the anime films are the things that I always push. I just keep pushing,
Yeah,
and then I miss out on them. And it's something I need to stop doing because there's so many now.
I think it's just an idea of like time too. Like you don't think about sitting and binging a show because it's like broken up into little 20-minute segments. But then the idea of sitting like giving 90 minutes is like for whatever reason harder to do. So I get it. Like I think we all kind of do it in a way.
I'm seeing a bunch of movies that I didn't know were made though, like Kobayashi movie. What the heck is this? Oh, it's a promotional video, not a movie. Should we get into the Crunchyroll Awards?
So recently, there's been the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, which I think every year is kind of like not a hot button, but people have their different opinions on it and the choices that are made, like with any award show, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think with this, it's kind of like, I don't want to say a slap in the face, but I think it's painfully obvious to see the divide in like what we consider like anime culture, what I consider anime culture, and what the general viewing audience of anime culture might actually be in its current state.
Yeah.
Right?
And that and what this current like the populace of this current culture deems
Worthy.
valuable. Yeah, worthy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking at the big elephant in the room is the fact that whatchamacallit, Solo Leveling won Anime of the Year. And I'm not hating on Solo Leveling because I ended up liking Solo Leveling. We talked about like the first season. I had my issues with it, especially the opening, fucking travesty of an opening. But it's a power scaling anime. I didn't think that they did anything that was like mind blowing. I didn't think it was anything game changing as far as animation or storytelling wise. As far as characters, I was like, okay, he's Gojo, who's just Gojo really fast.
Yeah.
Like becomes like I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is that it kind of has one vibe, and that's cool.
Yeah.
It's just cool. And that to me just doesn't.
It doesn't. To me, it doesn't deserve like the moniker of like anime of the year.
No.
Especially when you have something like Free Ren. You've got Dun-Da-Dun.
Yeah.
Apothecary Diaries.
These are just these are just
nominated with it.
Nominated. There's anime that didn't even get nominated.
Yeah.
Like
what's the one that you and Joey damn it. I watched the first couple episodes when
Dungeon
I was
Meshi?
No, not Dungeon Meshi. That was
Oshinoko?
Oshinoko.
Yeah. Oshinoko is phenomenal. The thing is, I don't understand because Freerun came out in fall of 2023.
But then it
ran into 2024.
Yeah, so maybe that's why.
It's kind of strange if that's the criteria. But I'm looking through the catalog. We got like Dungeon Meshi, which was, I know you're not a foodie, so it didn't quite stand out to you as much, but you haven't even gotten to like the meat and potatoes of the actual plot and the campaign, like not campaign, the story of the like characters and stuff, where it starts getting really, really good. I mean, it never lets go of that foodie, like episodic, like meal of the episode kind of thing, but it also, it gets pretty heavy. It's amazing. So good. So good. Just doing a quick look here. Like the thing is, like Demon Slayer doesn't get counted in that, even though that was in 2024.
But it did get counted in the animation, like best animation. Like that's what I'm saying. These awards are so arbitrary.
Yeah.
At this point, they don't fucking make sense. And like again, what did Free Ren win? Like best, it didn't win Anime of the Year, but it did win like best story or something.
Oh yeah, it won. Let's see. I have the thing pulled up now. Solo Leveling also won best new series. Let's see. Solo Leveling won best action anime.
Oh, it won best drama.
Yeah, best drama. Free Ren.
Free Ren did.
I think best soundtrack also went to Free Ren.
Yeah.
Ugh, best isekai went to ReZero. Bro, get out of here. Best animation went to Demon Slayer, which I would argue, honestly. I think there are moments in Demon Slayer where Demon Slayer animation is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But
I think you could put Dun Da Dun in there.
Yeah. It is nominated, but
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. One over Dun Da Dun. So
best background art went to Free Ren.
Free Ren, yeah.
Okay.
But it's like, again, and I mean, I guess this
best director went to Free Ren.
This is in like every award show, right? You have all of these pieces of work that have come out over the year, and you get 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But it's the same 5 or 6 the whole time, and it's like, I don't know, man. I think it's again, the fact that like, so this is voted on by the general public, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, it's a popularity contest.
It is
more than it is.
It so is
a judgment of like art, which is arbitrary anyway. But I don't know, man. I think you can just look at the shows and you can see like the level of depth that some have and that others don't. And it makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
If we're judging an anime of the year based on depth and intent and integrity and like a willingness to like push a boundary,
just give it the most watched award.
Yeah, give it the most watched, give it the most streamed.
Yeah,
like that's fine. I'm totally fine with that.
The best anime of the year should go to the best anime of the year based on like professional and a deep understanding of what makes something truly great.
Like legitimately, if I don't know when they're going to wrap up Solo Leveling, I know that it's moving really fast, so I don't know how long of a show.
Apparently, there's still a good bit.
Okay, but I'm going to say in like 5 years. Do you think they're still talking about Solo Leveling being one of the best anime of all time?
I don't know why it's even in the all-time category right now.
Because that sounds like a hyperbole, but it's not. Like people, that's what they say. I literally had this conversation like 3 weeks ago with a guy at work. He was like, "Dude, it's one of the best anime I've seen in the past 10 years." And I was like,
out of how many anime have you watched? That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like these people are voting on the only anime that they've seen.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that
And they just started watching anime.
They just started watching anime, and because they're also so new to watching anime, and I'm not hating on that, but they're still in that nothing but power-ups, dope fight scenes, and like again the Giga Chad or what do you call it? Like the flex zone stuff, like how powerful is your guy?
Aura farming and stuff.
Yeah, aura farming. Like congratulations, we found the king of aura farming.
Yeah.
Like
don't get me wrong, I like solo leveling. I enjoyed it. I don't love it.
I did too. It was fine for what it was.
It has a lot of weaknesses.
Yeah.
Like storytelling wise.
Like player, can you say plot armor? Like, come on.
And it's lacking in a lot of areas. So many areas. I think it's fun. I think it's a great it's not an isekai, but it kind of like follows that same rhythm. Mm-hmm. But it's, the video game concept of it with the alternate programming kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not original. Not even a little bit, you know? There's nothing original about it. It's pulling from everything before it.
He's literally Kirito, but we get to see Kirito's level up.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he fucking is.
Yeah. Not to mention that the system constantly gives him what he needs to continue growing.
Exactly. So it's like he's playing on easy mode.
Yeah, like
let's be real here.
Kirito broke the system to get to where he wanted to go. Like, he said, no, this is life and death. Like, I don't care what the rules of this system say. Like, what I want is going to happen. And he like breaks through this. This guy is just like, oh, the system wants me to level up. Oh, the system is giving me extra bonus credit. Like,
yeah. Oh, look, the exact charm that I need to get through this boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm not sorry. Anyone who says that this is the best anime of the year, or like one of the best anime of 10 years, has only seen Solo Leveling and One Piece.
And Solo Leveling and One Piece and Demon Slayer. Probably.
Yeah, it's so upsetting. It's so upsetting because you know what happens with this is that this is what's going to encourage the next year of anime.
Oh, I know.
I know. People are going to be like, okay, aura farming, cool scenes, overpowered character. This is what they want to see.
Let's do another isekai. We should do another isekai.
Yeah, like, come on. Freerun, bro. If Freerun truly is in the running, there's nothing bad about that anime.
No.
There's not a single negative to that anime. I get it. It might not be everyone's cup of tea because it's, it can be a little slow.
It's at a different pace.
Yeah. It's a little slower. But they actually use like real cinematography techniques to like animate the series. They use the rule of thirds. They use composition. They use like foreground and background and perspective. They use what's it called about filming from like different angles on the same
180 degree rules and like how to break it.
Yeah. They follow all of that stuff. Like, I've watched full like hour-long breakdowns on the greatness of the animation and direction and the visual storytelling of Freerun. Guess what I've never seen? Any single breakdown on how great Solo Leveling is and how they're breaking the mold, or
look, it's a populist contest. We've already got that out of the way. But like, even if you're gonna go with like, all right, one of the popular animes, the more popular anime has to win, and we're gonna give it to a shonen because that's what's gonna push for the next generation and it's gonna generate more sales. If you look at artistic integrity, like, I'll give you the first season of JJK because I kind of bowed out on it, to be honest. And then the second season happened. And you're like, oh, they actually give a fuck. Like the first few like we talked about it with the rotoscoping and like all these different camera techniques and these animation techniques that they were using, that was like, they give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like they give a shit about what this looks like and the impact that it has.
Yeah, but did any of Jujutsu Kaisen fall into 2024? If that's their criteria?
Yeah. The second season was coming out in 2024.
Okay.
Right? Wasn't it?
I don't know. I'm not seeing it.
Am I making that up? Was it the year before?
It might be.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Looking at continued. JJK did fall into 20. Oh no, that's 2023. No.
Maybe that's the reason then.
Let me look down. Go down to continue of the start of 2024. What was continuing?
It's like you're saying, like it sucks that this does get the push with these awards, because again, it's like it was on like the front page of Crunchyroll too. So now you've got like even more fans who are coming in brand new to anime who are like, oh, this is the best anime of the year. Yeah, let's watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of something that I think actually deserves to get that title, getting it and getting maybe someone watching Frieren for their, like, let's say their first anime, right?
Yeah.
Watching Frieren, being like blown the fuck away, and like understanding that you don't have to have these like extreme paces of action and violence and everything, that you can have a story that takes its time to tell it, and that is present in the process of telling that story. You get this thing that's just like propelled by plot armor and the, you know, one after the other. It's like, what are we doing, man?
Yeah.
Like, why are we doing this?
The show has not done a good job of making me care about it. Like they had that really great episode or scene where Jinwoo, I guess we're doing spoilers. So where Jinwoo like saves his finally. Have you seen everything?
Yeah.
Okay. He finally rescues his mom, or and that scene when he's in the hospital room is amazing. It's so well done. But that's all. That's the only scene in the entire series so far. You know, like it shows fear at the beginning pretty well, but that's quickly tackled and removed from the show. No more fear. You know, like there's nothing for the main character to be afraid of anymore.
He's basically Saitama.
Yeah.
Without the you know, comedic deprivation, or the deprecation.
Self-deprecation. Yes, self-defecating.
He's Saitama without the self-deprecation.
Yeah. I could go on forever on this huge rant about it. But you know, at the end of the day, it's Crunchyroll Awards.
Yeah.
You know, and they've kind of made themselves out to be a joke several years in a row now. And so every single year, everyone goes, are you like, everyone who watches seasonally, and or maybe not as dramatic as seasonally, but watches frequently and watches several series a year, every year that they comes out, they're like, wait, what?
Right.
But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I
we
guess,
know what's the best.
I think, we all think we know what's the best, but yeah, we know what's the best. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the only way that you can really change this is if you want to create a Crunchyroll account and vote on it, maybe. That will help. But, you know, I think the reason that it really just irks me is like these shows don't get accolades in like the Emmys or the Oscars, you know, which is a travesty. You know, Oscars has best animated picture, but it's generally a Ghibli film from Japan, and that's it. It's just like an automatic in. For the shows, they don't have anything, man. The Emmys don't have that shit. For a North American audience, there's none whatsoever. So like, if this is gonna be the North American standard, which is what it is, it's because Crunchyroll it's for North American viewers. If it's gonna be for North American audiences, it needs to be represented accurately. And if you want to have a popularity contest, then call it what it is.
Yeah.
Don't call it an award, like an actual award ceremony, an award show.
Yeah. And don't label most popular as best of the year.
Right.
I guess it just says anime of the year. It doesn't say best anime of the year.
But that's what it is. That's like it's best film category. You know what I mean? Best picture.
Yeah. I guess but like, you know, to argue devil's advocate, like it could mean most impression, the biggest impression.
No, they're saying it's the best.
Yeah, they are. But still, even with that, like the two shows that made the biggest impression of the year were Dandadan and Freerun. Yeah. Especially Freerun. Freerun, I think, will change what people see as like being a story people want to see, right? Like as far as they were able to show that you can tell a story where all the action has already taken place. Mm. And it can still be one of the most impactful stories that you can tell, you know?
And that people will watch it.
Right. You can, the amount of like tears that have been shed watching Freerun, bro. Mm-hmm. By me alone.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know.
I guess just like, you know,
I say
let us know what you think about the anime awards and like what you think. Does it even deserve to have relevance? Like, let's be honest. Like, do we need to waste our like time getting angry over it, or do we just need to accept it at this point?
Yeah.
You know, do you think that our ideas are unjustified and our criticisms are unjustified? Let us know.
I think it should also be made clear whether or not a show should start in a year to be counted as, because I think Freerun was also included in last year's awards. Mm. And so like, I think it should be, are we doing continuing? Does it have to be season 1, episode 1 launches in 20 or in the year that you're awarding, you know? Yeah.
Or like, is there like a best episode thing too? Like, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I don't think so. I think best animation, in my opinion, should have gone to Oshinoko. I love Demon Slayer. I'm a huge Demon Slayer fan. But I think Oshinoko season 2 has some of the best animation that I've seen from an anime in the last few years. That's episode by episode. It was like, I was like pausing just to look at the animation, you know? Mm-hmm. So gorgeous.
I haven't seen it yet, but
amazing. Season 1, like I remember watching season 1 in LA and I was like, bro, this looks so good. And then I started watching season 2 of my own this year and it was even better. And I'm like, how are they getting better?
Yeah.
But
or like, you know, what was the one show about the girl who's deaf? Sign of Affection.
Sign of Affection, yeah.
Beautiful story. I mean, yeah. it's a romance. So like, not everyone's gonna watch it, but beautiful, phenomenal, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I'm 2024. If we're talking about, I'm like looking through originals. You got Dandadan, Solo Leveling, and that's kind of it. Everything else is continuing. I would say Dandadan still beats Solo Leveling.
It does for me.
Yeah. I'm trying to cover everything. Yeah, Solo Leveling, Dandadan. Kaiju number 8. Kind of, it was fun, but it kind of fell flat a little.
Yeah.
Windbreaker started. I haven't seen that though, so I don't know how good it is.
I haven't watched it. I've heard it's really good, but it's also from the same people that I was just talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost everything is continuing. Dungeon Meshi, it looks like Dungeon Meshi launched in 2024 as well.
Mm.
Is
Do
that what
you
this?
remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember that show? Was it called Given?
Given?
Yeah.
The band?
Yeah. Did they just
Yeah.
come out with a new?
It says movie
season?
number 2. So it looks like they've been doing movies. Yeah, maybe it's personal taste. In my opinion, best anime of the year, original that started in 2024, is Dandadan.
Dun.
Yeah, I would say Dandadan. Best animation, I would probably say Dungeon Meshi. Maybe Dandadan, but
for me, it's Dun. I mean, I haven't seen all of Dungeon Meshi, but Dun kind of turned it up on a lot of.
They did. It's hard. It's tough. It's tough. Dungeon Meshi, is very like creative and vibrant. Dandadan's really good though. That's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
I don't know of any category that I would put solo leveling in. Not trying to be a hater, continued, but I'm trying to think, and I really don't know. The fight scenes were so boring, bro. Solo leveling fight scenes are so boring.
Is this the hot take?
The final fight scene where he's fighting the bug.
The bug, yeah.
That was so lame. I was watching it like, what is this? What is this fight scene? Like,
I mean, I enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was groundbreaking. I didn't think they explored anything new, any new techniques of.
The only thing that they did that no anime has ever done before is show Jinwoo's butt crack fall out in the middle of the fight scene. That's the only thing.
I don't remember that.
There's been stills you can like you can look at freeze frames where people are like paused on that fight scene and his like pants are down and his butt cracks out.
Jesus.
Yeah. I think it's just to show that he's like moving around and his clothes are kind of, like barely holding on kind of thing. I guess they were trying to be a little bit realistic about the physics of like moving at that speed and what your clothes would do, but
interesting way to.
Are you looking it up? You're like, let me get that Jinwoo butt crack.
No, I'm looking at Given to see if the
lies
movie is on anything. I'm looking at.
You got a full screen page of Jinwoo butt crack.
I will share my screen with you.
I don't need to see your screen to know what you're looking at.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe next year will be different.
Yeah, they should also have an award for the most disappointing anime of the year.
Like the Razzies?
I don't know.
For anime?
Yeah. I would say Apothecary Diary Season 2 was a big letdown to me. I think it's still going. I just watched the newest episode yesterday. And this Season 2, like, it's good. I'm enjoying it, but it's pretty big letdown from Season 1, which was incredible.
Yeah.
Zenshu, which is an isekai about a manga artist who gets who dies and is like sent to their favorite anime, and they know how the story goes and like the tragedies that befall the main characters and stuff. And so they like use their like God-given powers in this realm to try to change the story. Very good. Really good isekai. Good animation. It's like a cool, like, it starts off a little boring and cheesy and corny because it's like that classic isekai humor comedy kind of thing, and then all of a sudden it gets real, and like you see like this artist who like grew up watching this anime that she loves so much, even with how tragic it is, and now she's like becoming friends with the characters where like on like a very real level.
Yeah.
Like how she can't change a story that's already been written. So good. It gets pretty heavy. Very good.
That was the season?
Huh?
That was this season?
That was last season. Yeah, that was last season. The Uzumaki was a disappointment.
What's Uzumaki? That sounds
That's
familiar.
the horror, like Spiral Girl.
Oh yeah.
Snail Girl.
Yeah.
Um,
I watched a couple episodes of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
I didn't watch it at all. I'm just not good with like horror, especially like those are the way they draw those are so disturbing. But I saw clips from like where the episodes are like different from different artists, I think.
Mm.
But I don't think it did as well as they were hoping it would.
Yeah. I think I've heard that the mangas are better.
Mm-hmm.
I think the animation kind of fell flat. That was part of it.
I like being someone that can recommend and honor notable anime, and that's what's important to me. So who cares what Crunchyroll and this new generation of anime watchers think?
Yeah. We'll always have ours. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
As long as we know what is the best. We know. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Thanks for listening to our breakdown of some of some great series that we've been watching, as well as the rants of controversies. Yeah. Have you had to gotten to do anything lately with the weather and your sickness?
No, I was going to say that. Yeah. Last time I said that you left for another episode of the Throttle Fox Moto Photo. And then it's been raining for the past 2 weeks. And so riding a motorcycle is not fun in the rain. And I am, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I am battling a sinus infection right now. Yeah. So not great for motorcycle riding.
But you have lots of stuff on there on your page.
But yeah, videos already on there. If you want to head over to Throttle Fox Moto Photo and check those out, that'd be rad. And hopefully here pretty soon, within the next week, hopefully, I'll be able to put another one up. Maybe going to Manga Cafe. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've been working on my drawing, doing live streams. So I did a couple this week, live streams of where I'm doing these fundamentals training and color theory training and things like that to try to improve my drawing, focusing on pixel art to have like a baseline and like a literal pixel understanding of color theory, depth, physics, things like that. And so I've been streaming that to kind of just have like a online record to kind of stream the process of learning something for anybody who might be encouraged to buy that. So I got to work for a few days, but then I'll be back and I'll be streaming. I might stream today actually. With the weather and everything, it's not looking like I'm going to get any errands ran. So yeah. Might do some streaming today. I kind of want to take a break from the pixel art though, or not pixel art, but the like training where I've just been drawing bushes and trees. I might try to draw like some like Pokemon or something. Yeah. Pixel art.
That'd be
cool.
But
yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's what you can catch me doing. You can catch our videos or our recordings on multiple different platforms. You got the link down below with the link tree. So
the link tree. Yeah. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube, you name it. We're there, baby.
But that's it. Thanks for tuning in. I'm not good at this. We'll catch you in the next episode. Bye. Am I missing something?
Bye.